I want to take you guys back to the past. No, not to the games that sucked ass, but ones that made us feel nostalgic about our past. Specifically the late 2000s to 2010s era of the internet. What games am I talking about? Look at my channel. The f do you think I'm talking about? It's no surprise that during this era of the internet, horror games were the rage in the horror community. Hell, most of the games you're seeing right now were the same ones that our favorite YouTubers played. But I'm sure you guys saw the title and are wondering why I'm talking about this. And for that, I would say be patient for once. I'm getting to it. There are a lot of those games in that era that I would love to talk about, but I'll save that for another video. The ones I'm talking about comes from a very fun, very old sandbox game known as Garry's Mod. Greetings my horror enthusiasts out there, my name is Rojo, a demon wolf here to show you how one game can help others produce terrifying worlds and creations. I'm sure you guys have heard of Gmod before, right? It's a sandbox game that people still make videos on to this day, showcasing a map of fan-made from their favorite TV shows, to characters and player models that people can use to do some roleplay stuff. Almost like VR chat, but hopefully less cringe. Some people even use it to make a bunch of hilarious videos, either through Source Filmmaker or just recording themselves messing with a ragdoll. Think of it as games like Minecraft or Roblox or Survivalcraft. Remember that mobile game? Basically a knockoff version of Minecraft but with more polygons instead of just cubes. Almost like playing Minecraft on the PS1. This game was basically around before any of those other sandbox games were even thought of, dating all the way back to 2004. Before we start talking about Gmod, we first gotta talk about a game that Garry Newman got the idea from. A classic first-person shooter called Half-Life. Back in 1998, a game company known as Valve, founded by Mike Harrington and Gabe Newell, introduced a revolutionary approach to FPS storytelling by getting rid of all cutscenes and letting the narrative play out through scripted in-game events, meaning the story goes on while you're playing the level. It became an influential FPS game for its AI, atmosphere, and environmental storytelling, making Valve be seen as a major developer. Fast forward to 2004, Valve made a sequel, Half-Life 2, using their new Source engine that showcased advanced physics, facial animation, and how we interact with the world. This is where we see all the praise this company got, seeing as everyone treated this game as the Bible and Gabe being a god. It's also where we get to see characters you most likely remember seeing but forget their names a lot if you haven't played the game. Combine Soldiers, Gordon Freeman, Alex Vance, G-Man, even the Gravity Gun. Now, what does this have to do with Garry's Mod? Well, back in 2004, during the popularity of Half-Life 2, this lovely gentleman known as Garry Newman made this as a free mod for the game, starting off as a simple sandbox mod where you can literally do anything you want.
I think there's someone hanging right there.
Players would go into the game and would be able to spawn props, weld objects, and experiment the physics in the same Source engine. It became so popular that in 2006, Garry Newman partnered with Valve to release Garry's Mod version 10 as a paid standalone game on Steam. This version completely changed the toolset, interface, and add-on support, which made the game explode in popularity. This is where the modding community made its shining appearance. The game became popular for so many different mods that were added to the game. Wire mod packs, sandbox tools, even different game modes were made for multiplayer parties. Games like Prop Hunt, Space Build, Dark RP, Trouble in Terrorist Town, Hide and Seek, and of course we can't forget about the thousands of maps people have made over the years. Still to this day, this huge modding community still makes their own creations that keeps Garry's Mod alive. And yes, that includes things like horror stuff. These are known as Gmod Scary Maps. Now, back when Gmod first became a standalone game, some players started experimenting with dark, atmospheric builds on their sandbox. Things like putting gothic textures on buildings, zombies, even some creepy ambient sounds. Models that were used from Half-Life 2. But these weren't full maps yet, more like scenes that different users have made to make it look like spooky rooms from a haunted house. Once 2008 came around, players learned how to map using Hammer and started creating dedicated horror maps, featuring jump scares, scripted sequences, puzzle solving, and even just linear exploration, stuff that once again was inspired by Half-Life 2. With help from the Lewis scripting, map authors would trigger different sounds, NPC spawns, mess with the lighting, and have different events happen near the player. Most of the time they were either spooky mazes, escaping a laboratory, or just exploring a haunted facility. Some of the maps that were made even allowed co-op multiplayer so you could play them with friends. And once our favorite YouTubers started playing these maps, that's when these maps became internationally known to the community. My fondest memories of these were when Markiplier and Yamimash would play them. I bet these maps creators shit themselves when they saw their favorite YouTubers play their maps and even compliment how well done it was. This was obviously the beginning of the horror community getting involved with Gmod. Thanks to these YouTubers like PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, even Vanoss Gaming and his crew, more horror maps were being made to this day. They started popping out almost at the same pace as indie horror games in general. Some were good, some were bad, and I pretty much got to play as much as I was able to. There are hundreds of different horror maps with many more still being made today, and it would probably take me months or even years to literally go through all of them. So instead I listed maps that I heard or seen gameplay of before and played them so I can get my opinions on what I think of them. Now all I need is a random person to play as. You! Yeah, you, come over here. You want to go on an adventure through so many different horror maps that last for hours, making you lose your sanity and question why your creator left you in this rotting hell that's called existence? I think she's ready to go. There is a lot to go through, and don't worry, I made sure you guys can hear my reaction of what was going on in Gmod. Think of it as like a little clip montage with some commentary over it. Also, bear this in mind, this is my first time I recorded gameplay footage on my computer. Those that knew me for a while know I usually stream gameplay on my Xbox, and yeah, it was time I upgraded the look of my streams. Could this be a sign that I might start streaming on PC? I guess you'll have to wait and find out. Anyways, here's my journey through these scary maps. Howdy doody, everyone. So a lot of the maps you're about to see in Gmod, this whole scary maps thing that we're about to go through, most of them are around the 2010s era. I would say specifically probably early 2010s to late 2010s. I don't know if any of the maps I downloaded are from the 2020s because I haven't really looked it up. But most of the ones you're about to see are from the era before the COVID-19 stuff happened. Now keep in mind, a lot of the like early 2010s maps, like ones in 2012, 2013, some of them are short and would probably take about 10 seconds to beat. Probably not 10 seconds, but you know, it'll feel like it's been 10 seconds. While the later ones, like closer to 2020, they're a bit longer. Because at that time, people know how to correctly do maps and develop stuff and all the other things I don't understand because I'm not a map developer myself. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It might take me a couple days to go through all the ones I have listed on my thing right now, but this will be something. Also, yeah, this is the house, the monster house, the Nevercracker's house. You know, from that movie, Monster House, the one house that, you know, blamed the kids for killing the owner, even though he wasn't really dead. He was just, I guess, had like a stroke or something. It's amazing how the guy even survived, knowing he hated every kid in the block. Look, you guys can shit on the movie all you want because of how bad the animation was. I loved it as a kid, and I still watch it to this day, every Halloween. Well, without further ado, let's go see these maps, shall we? Figure we start off easy by going through a map that doesn't have much scares, but still holds a little bit of that horror element. Insomnia is one of those dreamscape maps where you wander through your own fantasy land of familiar locations your character has been to. This case being referenced to Half-Life 2, as you're a rebel going against Combine soldiers and dealing with zombies with those crab heads possessing them. It's a mix of a walkthrough and a combat adventure, almost like a custom map in Far Cry. I actually enjoyed playing this despite the lack of scares the other maps would have. Really, the only horror elements in this were the zombies and the uneasy feeling you get when you wander certain areas that would look like liminal spaces. The ambush from the soldiers can also give you a spook if you aren't paying attention. I'd still recommend this as a way to ease you into the more scarier maps. The first of many maps that a creator made into a series. This I like to call the Hells series. There's not really a name for it, I just decided to call it that. This comes in 3 parts: Hell's Resort, Hell's Prison, and 3 chapters of Hell's Island. In Hell's Resort, you and your friends whoops, I guess they expected co-op for maps like this, are on a trip when all of a sudden the car engine stops working. You end up in a resort to seek shelter when the doors lock behind you, and now you must escape. The only way to escape is to go around the resort and break all 5 devil crosses. Yeah, not to be confused with the Jesus ones. The ones he got hung on and died, and people now use it as a symbol for some reason. Good for them, I guess. Ow. In Hell's Prison, you are a random person that loves to do some paranormal hunting, which is how you find out about some creepy things happening in the prison. The same thing as in the resort, you go in and now you have to escape. Finally, you have 3 chapters of Hell's Island. This one's got more of a story. where you are a fisherman with a crew that stopped by an island town to get some gas, not realizing there is an evil that controls the entire island. Later on, as you're battling demons that roam the area Doom style, your captain gets killed and the engine is no longer working. So, left stranded on a demon-controlled territory, you have to fight your way off the island and find a way to escape. Now, I want to point out that there are going to be similarities with these maps, and that's mostly with the jump scares. Oh my god, that's so loud, Jesus! Some of them would just have a model pop up with a scream sound effect, or sometimes even explosions for some reason, or even just a JPEG flash in front of your face. But that doesn't mean the creator doesn't have a creative way to scare the shit out of you. Now, Resort has more of that classic old-style objective-based walkthrough of a horror map, while Prison and Island gives you more of a fighting chance. I definitely like Resort since it's got more of that nostalgic old horror feeling to it, but I do also have a soft spot for battling the demons that pop up in an ambush. I'm sorry. Now, the final boss battles for each of the maps, well, this is Gmod we are talking about. Do people really expect a Dark Souls kind of fight? Resort has a giant bug creature that you only have to avoid like it's Outlast. What? Whoa, shit! What? Prison has what's basically the mother of the little demons you were killing, and Island has two legendary monsters, as they were called. The thing is, there really wasn't a final boss for Hell's Island, as there was going to be a 4th chapter after you escape on a train. But seeing as Chapter 3 was made 10 years ago, I don't think we would be getting Chapter 4. I don't know if the creator either canceled the project or if they had it up but was later removed over the years. But I really wanted to know how Hell's Island ended and what its final boss would have been. This was definitely a fun and nostalgic series that I played. My favorite would definitely go to Hell's Prison, since it would look like I'm going through Alcatraz. The boss battle at the end would have to be the most creative looking arena room I've seen so far, even if all it was is shooting zombies, head crabs, and the motionless blacked out creature hanging on the wall. I'd go back to this with my friends in the future for sure. Now nothing shows an example more of an old school walkthrough puzzle solving horror map like Death of a Dream, dating all the way back to 2012. God damn, I feel so old now. The first one is pretty much just a survival walkthrough of basically the shortest map made on this list. I'm not kidding. Looking back at the gameplay footage, it only took me 5 minutes just to get to the end. My guess is that it was the first map the creator made back then, so it was more of a prototype. I mean, this was the same person that made the Hell series, so maybe it gets better in the later maps. Death of the Dream 2 has a bit more to show for it. This is where we see more of the puzzle solving as well as the walkthrough. Oh yes, and the JPEG Screamer. So clearly the map creating skills this person had greatly improved from the first one. The annoying thing was that this is one of the maps that required at least 2 people to play it, at least for this part to activate the generator. But this is the one I have memories of so many YouTubers playing it. Death of the Dream 3 keeps up with the puzzle solving, but makes it more difficult than the second one. Now, I don't know if it's because I was overthinking things or my observation skills are complete dog water. Pretty sure it's the second one. But there were multiple times I had to look it up if what I did was right or if I unintentionally broke the map and had to restart it. So I don't know what the hell's going on here, but we're trapped here. I tried all these things right here. I tried them all. Nothing's working. I mean, hell, I was stuck in the first room for over 10 minutes until I found out there's a hidden button in a certain part of the wall you have to break. Thankfully, it was just me being an idiot and being paranoid over nothing. Man, this hard map really got to me. And right away, it's required to have 2 people. Look, I had people on my friends list that could have joined me through this journey, but I was stubborn enough to myself to just go through these like a brave boy. Maybe I should go back to these and stream it just to get different reactions when they play it. But, I mean, what else is there to say about Death of a Dream 3? The map is bigger, puzzle solving was challenging, scares are pretty much the same, and because I was playing solo, I kinda had to cheat just to see the rest of the map. Although there was one great thing about the map that was even in the second one. I'm ready for it. Finally, we got Death of the Dream 4. In this one, we finally got a story. After partying a little too crazy, you and your friends end up in cages Voss style.
Do you want me to slice you open like I did your friend? Shut the f*** up!
Obviously your goal is to escape. This one only recommends multiplayer, but actually functions as a solo playthrough. Also, we now get guns, but nothing to kill, really. The hell's the point of having these then? The scares in this one definitely improved over the last 3. The map was obviously more extended, and I swear 50% of the rooms were death rooms. I love how slow these fucking walls are. And once again, the puzzle solving got me confused and lost and making me look up what I had to do. But I swear, this time it ain't my fault. How was I supposed to see this slim looking object hiding on the rack in the dark? I thought it was just part of the decorations. Oh my god! This fucking map. It annoyed me so much, I was about to go full angry video game nerd on it.
What the f*** were they thinking?
Regardless of that though, I still found a way to have fun playing this map series. To think this all started 13 years ago, it brought back memories for sure. I would definitely recommend this map series. Yes, even the short 5-minute gameplay of the first one. It is the beginning of that Death of the Dream series after all. Well, after the amount of puzzle solving and screamers charging at us, this one is actually much more tame. Abandoned Metro is pretty much what you expect it to be. You start in an outdoor sewage area, I think that's what it is here. Then you get to a hole in the wall that leads to an abandoned subway metro area. What do you do here? You just explore. That's pretty much it. So much like Insomnia and the first Death of the Dream, you just explore the abandoned subway tunnels that used to have people here. What's the story behind the place? What happened to the people that worked here? I have no clue. There was no story on the workshop page. No one in the discussion was talking about the lore behind this place. I literally got nothing else to say about it. So why is it on my list? That's why. Clearly this is a horror map, not just for the uneasy and creepy feeling about this big dark underground area, but also its subtle and eerily quiet jump scare that happens, giving you the feeling that something down here is stalking you. So if you guys want to go full game theorist mode in this area, feel free to do so in the comments, because other than that, I got nothing else to say about this map. Well, other than the tunnel leading into someone's house and it had a key that led to the basement. Surprisingly, there is an event happening here where I had to hide in the locker. As you can tell, I was getting excited because I wandered around for a long time looking for something to pop out. The wall behind me opens up, I crawl inside, and I ended up in an area I was already in. And I left the metro, fully understanding that just because it's abandoned doesn't mean it's filled with paranormal stuff that'll give you a one-way ticket to be part of the Ghost Adventures crew. Oh boy, let me tell you about this one. This map was getting good right off the bat. I end up in a town that reminds me so much of Silent Hill. There's voice acting in this map apparently.
Yo, what is this place?
There's voice acting? And as I enter this eerily looking town... Oh yeah, this was going to be exciting. I get it, these are basically just JPEG screamers floating by with very loud noises. And yes, this does have puzzle solving, mostly just collecting things to advance to the next area of the town. But let me tell you, this is where the annoying part of the map takes its full swing. Now, of course, the way you can tell, according to what the map shows, blood splatter usually shows the item on it is what you need. But that kind of defeats the purpose of it when it blends in the darkness. I can't tell you how many times I passed by these things, all because I couldn't see them at first. It's like the map creator tried to give us a clue, but it was so subtle, I kept thinking I was at the end or I broke the script of the map. It happened so many times, I wasn't even getting scared with the last half of the screamers because I was so annoyed. Maybe if the item that was required emitted a faint glow within the blood splatter, that could help people find it a bit easier. It's not that bad of a horror map, but this problem just made it not fun for me. Perfect timing, am I right? A wintry forest area that has a pretty interesting story. Not sure who you play as exactly, but you follow the story of a father that's taken his family on a holiday vacation in the big family cabin house. But this house had some history with its previous family that lived there. An axe murderer broke in and pretty much went full Terrifier on the family, killing the youngest daughter, the eldest daughter, the parents, and then making the boy's body disappear. Now, the only way you learn about what happened is by exploring the house that the spirits still haunt, seeing as you get paranormal scares left and right. Later on, as you get to explore other buildings in the area, you find out that the same thing happened to this guy, who got some heavy self-guilt and grief going on. He blames the mechanic for being the one that murdered his family, all this leading to a radio station where the battle seemed to occur, with his lifeless corpse slumped onto the chair. We climb the radio tower, and it seemed like this whole thing was some cabin-in-the-woods experiment controlled by a secret government company. I honestly like this map a lot. The jump scares were neatly timed, the puzzle solving wasn't really too complex, and I totally didn't have to reset the map because I died in the middle of a jump scare event breaking the script. Now, from the looks of the ending, there was a sequel planned to continue the storyline, possibly helping us to learn more about these APATF people that were playing on the radio earlier in the end. But I couldn't find the map. I wonder if the same thing happened when there was going to be a 4th chapter on Hell's Island. If you guys are able to find it, do let me know. No, I didn't load up a different game app. This is literally a map in Gmod that has its own title screen. And it also gives us options to play solo or with friends. It reminds me a lot of those Roblox horror games. Break-In is a game that actually represents the dangers of crazy people breaking and entering people's homes, sometimes to steal things, other times just to kill anyone that's there. In this case, it's the second one. In the game, you play as a kid that's home alone at night, and you have to do the chores listed in the kitchen. Not gonna lie to you guys, I had a bit too much fun with the rag. Gotta get that, gotta get all this, and then little that, yep. Gotta get the stools as well. Can't forget about the stools right here. The dishwasher, yeah, we gotta. And then the sink. I'm gonna take this with me, honestly, just to clean everything else up. Okay, we gotta get this table all cleared up as well. Can't forget these chairs, you know? I mean, how else can people sit down if how else can people sit down if it's gonna be dirty as, you know? Yep. Gotta get these. Get these out of the way. We clean the books. No? Alright. Bathroom. Gotta get... Oh, I was supposed to bring this here anyways. Duh. Okay, well, we gotta sponge the toilets. Got that. Got that, and then... Yep. And then gotta get the blood stain off the... Yeah. Gotta get the blood stain off the... Right there. Perfect. Gotta dry this shit up as well. Ah, come on, you fucker. No, the doors are fine. The doors are fine. Some stains. I especially need to get my bed cleaned up. Just... The alarm clock needs some cleaning as well. Hold on. Alright. Anyways, while you're doing this, outside there's a black truck that slowly passes by the house, stalking you as you do your chores. Of course, if you didn't use the radio, you wouldn't have known that this was the murderer. After you do the chores, that's when the scares begin. The truck pulls up, the guy disconnects the phone line, turns off the power, and breaks inside to catch you. Now there's different things you can do which give you different endings. You can try to find a gun in a safe and confront the guy, escape out of the house, get killed, contact the police before he breaks in, or be like me and just hide like a wimp. I'm just kidding, by the way. If this happens to you in real life, the best thing to do is to hide and contact the police. It doesn't make you a wimp, it makes you a survivor. Anyways, if you hide, the killer gets bored and will eventually leave, but if you get the police here, you get this quite action-packed cutscene of the murderer versus the cop. Either way, you survive, and all's well that ends well. No, seriously, it actually ends perfectly. You become a survivor, and the murderer dies. I really love this map simply because it made the game look completely different. No models from Half-Life were used, and I really love the PS1 horror game texture to it. Not gonna lie though, there are like way too many horror games that use those textures, but this one at least wasn't too bad. Yes, that's actually the name of the map. I wonder where this takes place. The story is that you and your friends went on a round-the-world trip when your flight gets delayed for a few days. You check into a hotel only to find out that a murder happened recently because of whatever spirit haunts the place. I'm not even going to say what the objective is because it's pretty self-explanatory at this point. So you try to find your friend since you need to get out of there, but uh-oh, he's dead. What a surprise. Yeah, we'll just jump. Oh, fucking Jesus! So as you try to escape the hotel, it seems the spirit is haunting you as you go through a whole Shining moment. But this map did not make me a dull boy. This huge area was actually pretty fun to go around. This map basically became one of my most favorites out of the other maps I played on the list, as I could see this being its own indie horror game. The scares were actually terrifying, the stories got me wanting to know more about what happened, and the puzzles, well, I still didn't understand some of it, but this map was actually really good. I definitely recommend giving this a try. So this map and 2 other maps actually required us to type in these commands in the console, which was a first for me because the other maps, it's done for you. So the map I gathered from this is if Abandoned Metro actually had some more horror stuff to it. You start off in a train as it crashes into whatever the hell it crashed into. Then you get jump scared by the Mole Man himself as you traverse out of the metro into whatever nightmare dreamscape you end up in. Somehow this leads you to what appears to be a prison place with a robot that feels fantastic. You can't be f***ing serious. That f***ing video? I feel fantastic. Yeah, I feel fantastic as well, man. This map had a lot of throwbacks to my creepypasta days years ago. Yes, all this happens, then you wake up as if it was all a nightmare. Or was it? I found it really fun since it had some psychological horror stuff to it while throwing in nostalgia of the past I loved. Man, it just makes me want to go back to reading creepypastas again. Speaking of that map, this creator King Palms also made this one, Underneath the Dark. This time it takes place at a movie theater that's advertising a good selection of horror films. Once again, I get that nostalgic feeling of when I used to go see a horror film in a theater with my parents before those streaming apps started taking over. So we go to the theater to watch what I believe is Apollo 11 for some reason, until Sadako decides to take over the film to spread her curse. Thankfully, there's a switch in the vents just for such an occasion. Now we get to be the star of whatever new horror film is being released here, seeing as the psychological horror stuff lingers onto this map as well. But as we continue on, looks like some kind of paranormal human experiment is being conducted under the theater. Why does that sound familiar? Anyways, all this ends up taking us to a huge library where we have to avoid one of those things that escapes containment, and we finally get to the end. This is where we meet the map creator himself, who congratulates us for escaping by sacrificing us to the fire. But something goes wrong when the fire goes out, and now all of a sudden we're fighting him. I've never heard of a horror game where you get into a boss battle with the actual creator. Would this count as going against God or something? This was definitely a weird map to go through. I honestly thought because we were in a movie theater, the psychological horror stuff would be us being a victim in every film that's shown here. But clearly Palms over here just wanted to fight us since we couldn't die. Still, I guess this was fun, but I played better ones. Not really a big fan of the whole Destiny-style boss battle scene in the end. Speaking of people that manipulated us and wanted us dead, this series actually caught my attention. I don't know what the actual name of it is, but I'm going to call it the Apophis series. There are 3 maps that are part of the series: Terror from the Dark, The Awakening of Apophis, and The City of the Doomed. Terror from the Dark is a map much like Insomnia and Death of a Dream, mostly just an exploration walkthrough map. This one doesn't just use the Half-Life models, but there's a creative difference of how this person uses it, especially for one of these guys. Obviously, there's a lot of psychological horror stuff for these maps. Apophis is a demon that selected you to be the one who frees him from his prison. He does this by showing you how powerful he is, and letting you see the world through his perspective. I think this whole idea comes from that Egyptian deity that's like a sworn enemy to the sun god Ra, seeing as he's the one that tries to get rid of the sun and plunge the world into eternal darkness. It almost has that style of an EXE game, since there were moments I thought it was going to mess with my PC. That was until I realized it's only Gmod. It was a pretty good start to the series. Awakening of Apophis is where puzzle solving gets involved, as we now have a goal: awakening the demon himself and letting him purge the light of this world. We lift the seal and bring in objects in the room to open the gates and allow him to roam free. While we were going through all these rooms, he kept a watchful eye on us, making sure we've completed the steps. This honestly was a lot of fun, and my most favorite out of the 3. No, not because of the fact we can release a demon to the world, but the sheer psychological look of the world map as we were traversing through this weird world. City of the Doomed is basically what happens to the world after Apophis is freed. This time we're guided by a voice who is trying to stop Apophis from destroying the world, probably referencing Ra, who defeats Apophis at dawn. We go through a bunch of psychological areas that we're taken to, some being areas we were at from Terror from the Dark, destroying a bunch of these crystal things that we believe helps us damage the demon. All the while I question why this voice is helping us, since I could have sworn we are the reasons why Apophis is free from his prison to begin with. Either way, we face a very different looking Apophis as he intends to get rid of us for good. But thanks to the mysterious voice, time freezes as we destroy the final crystal that kills off Apophis. The world is safe once again from the demon, but we get to see something else. Turns out in the end, we were part of an experiment, a simulation, who failed the test and had to do it all over again. All of it being a loop, non-stop. This was one hell of a series. The creator Sumagu did an amazing job with the psychological horror design of these maps. I really want to see more maps made by them. I'm telling you guys, I would repeat these maps over and over if I wanted to. I highly recommend trying them out. Our first two-putter of the maps on the list, made by the same creator King Palms, who worked on Underground and who we fought in Underneath the Dark. This map takes place at a haunted castle, the first part being a small village area, and the second part being in the castle. It reminds me a lot of Amnesia: The Dark Descent. The map ambience was definitely an improvement from the last two maps he worked on. The scares on this aren't the best, but at this point I've seen worse than these. At least they aren't just floating JPEGs. But I will say, I had yet to see a map that involved some parkour to it, even though it got annoying throughout that section. Alright. Oh, well. God. There we go. Jump here and motherfucking. Ow. There's fake ones, got it. So goddamn hilarious, aren't you? Where the hell's the real one then? Ah! Do I just jump down? I do. Got it. Okay, that was it. That was the final one. I don't think there were many games that would take place in Gothic Dracula-style castles, other than, say, Castlevania in that one Resident Evil game. A few more scares and Gothic rooms later, we end up being sacrificed yet again, and from the looks of it, we aren't the only ones to keep the castle's heart beating. It was an alright map. It was definitely weird having a whole Monsters Inc. room as we were getting close to the clockworks that I'm guessing is in the middle of the castle underground. I think what would have gotten me more into it is knowing the story behind the castle and why the ending showed us strapped against our will into the clockwork. I guess we can only theorize what all of it means. Ooh, our first space horror map. Haven't seen one of these in a long while. So, Lost Souls of Igneon. I guess you could say it would be like Dead Space, but I kind of see it more like a zombie version of Alien. You're an employee stationed on the ISS Nitro of Nitro Core Industries, a company that mines resources from different planets and sells them for profit. Things go wrong when they get to the planet Igneon 3. As the sole survivor, you task yourself to find out what went wrong and to escape out of the station. Thankfully, unlike, say, Alien Isolation, we have a fighting chance to kill these zombie aliens that invade the station as we get power back, repair the panels, and get a ship out of here. But the fun isn't over yet, as the planet Igneon wants us to stay a little longer planetside. This is where we get to the labs to see everything that went wrong, and why everything has gone quiet. Facing more alien-possessed zombies, and solving the problem that reminded me of my trauma days dealing with math every day at school. It's also weird how we are in the far future of the 23rd century, and somehow the only PC they are able to use is Windows 98. Anyways, after we get to a different section of the laboratory, we build ourselves a rover to help light our way as we fight more zombies, and now we are in a magma cave, somehow. But thanks to the dead soldiers that got these machines built and active, it seems we found our way to escape. But that's when we fight zombie creatures that are the Lost Souls of Igneon. Oh, that's what the title's for. That drop the materials we need to refuel the ship and make our escape. This was definitely my most favorite when it comes to combat in a horror map. This honestly made me want to play the actual Half-Life games. I kind of wish we had more of a lore story of what was going on with everyone else that worked on the Igneon project instead of just whatever the last messages were on their computers and tablets. But it was still a pretty good map to go through. And yeah, I totally did this first try. No deaths during the run whatsoever. If you saw me die during the gameplay and spread the news, you were banned from my death day party. Ever wanted to know what it's like to go do some urban exploring? Abandoned Sears is a way to show it to you. This map is almost like Abandoned Metro, seeing as it's supposed to look like a map you just explore. But there is actually an objective to the map, escaping it to the other side of the mall. Now, how do I know there's an objective to this map? The jump scares that led to the basement. Again, it was just a fucking... See, throughout my gameplay of these maps, the only way I know there are things to do, and if I'm going the right way, are when these jump scares pop out in front of me. Abandoned Sears is just one of them. We find gas to fill up the generator gives us access to the other side of the mall, then we find 5 fuses to power the gate allows us to go outside to the other side of the building, where we make our escape into the rest of this barren wasteland of the world. Look, I'll be honest, I thought this was also just an exploration map. I wasn't expecting those jump scares to happen at all. Bravo to the creator of this map. Now that I've seen it, I wonder what other maps they made that look out of the ordinary. Yes, another series to the list of maps. Necrophobia, meaning the fear of the dead. This not only had 3 parts, but also a prequel to it. Obviously, I started with the prequel. In the prequel, we started off in a cave with a newspaper saying what happened to 3 miners that were killed. The mine being shunned by society as they believe something evil resides inside. The cave exits to a town that is being haunted by the spirits that I believe escaped from the caves and is causing all these deaths to the townsfolk. Another newspaper mentions 3 teens that disappeared at an abandoned hospital. Throughout our journey, we find a working vehicle, and we drive to meet Father Gregory. The hell is he doing outside of Ravenholm? He helps you stock up on ammo as the demons attack the church. After the battle, he takes you to the cursed mines where the bones of the devil reside. So this is where the evil is at. After a brief battle, we retrieve the cursed skull, bring it back to the church, and cleanse the skull with the baptism fountain. And then the credits roll. No, seriously, that's it. After the skull is placed, the holographic G-Man spawns in, and then that's it. I don't know what the significance of it is, but whatever. Now we head to the main chapters of Necrophobia. The first chapter has us seeking shelter in a building after our car broke down. Wow, again with these vehicles not working for some reason. And already I got stuck in a room I'm not supposed to be in. Look, I'm not one to judge a game harshly, but seriously? If I'm not supposed to be in this room, why give me access to go in without any scripted events going on, and then not have me just ejected out of the room? Anyways, we go inside, and it's clear we shouldn't stay long. Crawling through vents, a couple scares here and there, pretty subtle stuff so far. We fight through demons that I could have sworn would be gone after cleansing the bones of the fucking devil in the prequel, but whatever. Maybe some other evil entity is in play in this town. It's pretty typical stuff going on for a survival horror map. The second chapter has us in a hotel of some kind after we escape with a different car. It's clear this evil entity really wants us to be here eternally. This guy even helps us use a key card to get out of the hallway. Hopefully nothing bad happens to him. Okay then. Anyways, at some point we end up in the basement, much like in that haunted hotel map, and I don't know if it was clear, but our objective was to get the fuck out of wherever we are. After fighting some more zombie demons with other scares that get in our way, we eventually escape back to our van that was broken before, leading us with Chapter 3. The third chapter had us captured. Somehow. For some reason. A perfect analogy of me wanting to be free from things that go on and on for too long. Necrophobia is definitely quite an interesting horror map, and I can tell the creator put a lot of care into making these chapters. But so far, I've been liking the prequel more and more since it had more story to it. This one is just us trying to escape, which is pretty much what 90% of these maps are about. Anyways, what's to say about the third chapter? Scares, zombie combat, puzzle solving that make me wander back and forth because I'm an idiot, and we get to find a way to free the spirits trapped here. So it was the power of an angered, vengeful spirit. Well, all we had to do was bury the remains of the spirit to let them go to the afterlife in peace. It would have been better doing it Winchester style. Salt, gas, match, boom. Vengeful spirit be gone. Like I said, it's a pretty good map and quite an interesting take on just normal survival horror with some paranormal stuff to it. Hypnophobia, the fear of falling asleep, made by the same person behind Insomnia. Once again, it's a map that's more on the feeling of unease, going through liminal space areas while also combating different soldiers and zombies. There's really nothing much to say about this map, other than there being death rooms that make you start back at the beginning. Well, that was annoying, but hey, at least there's a cool looking enemy wave arena at the end of the map. I don't know what this has to do with being afraid of falling asleep. I mean, it looks like we already did and we're going through our dream. I'm pretty sure this is just Insomnia Part 2, unless this came out before it. Don't know, don't care. I still think it was pretty cool going through this dreamscape map. Finally, we have Noskomophobia, the fear of hospitals and asylums. Boy, does this map show why people are afraid of them. Sadly, this isn't like Outlast where we go through Murkoff's Mount Massive Asylum, but we still get plenty of scares in the map. I've always had a thing for asylums and horror stuff, either as a haunted house or in a horror game. It ties in perfectly with psychological horror stuff. Obviously the goal is to escape the asylum. That's it. No story behind what goes on here, no evil entity for us to fight. It was honestly pretty boring, which is a shock since I love haunted asylums, but this map offered nothing for me to stick around or play a lot of. Throughout the gameplay, I just wanted it to be done and over with so I can get out of there. That's really all I gotta say about Noscomophobia. Somehow it just makes me want to play a different map without completing this one. Well, what a journey from the past of old nostalgic maps and seeing how these creators improved themselves over the years. Obviously there are many more being made to this day, same way with Roblox having horror games made. There were some really good ones that got me a good fright, while others just made me want to skip it and play something better. It was still fun going through the maps. If you guys have Gmod and want to try out the maps, I'll put the links to them in the description below. Think of it as my Christmas gift to you guys. Hope you guys have a hell of a holiday. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and comment which maps were your favorite. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to know when I upload a new video. With the New Year's coming up, expect a lot more from me. Until then, keep your fears and anxiety levels high. I'll see you. Hey, so before I end this video, obviously this is the last one of 2025. Can't believe it's already been half a decade. I just wanted to personally thank you guys for supporting the channel, even if all you guys did was watch a video and click in that red button down there. Actually, it's not even red anymore, is it? Ah well. I know this channel isn't in with the big leagues that we have nowadays, but that's not even close to what I had in mind while making these videos. I've always wanted to be a content creator since it helps me achieve this one life goal I got, and that's bringing you guys the best entertainment I can offer as much as possible before my time on this earth is used up, making you guys smile and laugh in a world that's filled with terrifying negative things. It sounds kinda grim, I get it. Really, I'm just a guy that rambles on about how much I love scary stuff, but it ain't the only thing that makes me go through my day. Knowing about the people that simply watch my videos or meeting me somewhere else on the internet and it brings them the laughter they needed, that's all I'm here for. That COVID pandemic that happened back in 2020 really got into people's heads and made them launch wars with each other far more than ever before. So it only seemed right that I help at least swipe that negativity away, even if it's temporary, by helping others see the positive side, even though the topics I talk about make it seem like it's the opposite. Either way, whether you're one of the few that have watched my videos on my channel since I started making them in 2023, or one of the many passerby viewers that stumbled onto this one, I do hope things go well for you in 2026 and beyond. To all my friends and family that I know and love, thank you so much for helping me through my darkest days, even though the darkest days I'm talking about were just me and my emo phase, and also for supporting me doing all of this. I promise to everyone watching this that my video making skills will get better. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon for future videos coming out soon. Happy holidays, everyone. Hope to see you guys in 2026. Boy, do I have stuff planned for you all.